who we are than it is here. And I just see enormous capacity to situate Canberra differently. I just think we're not very good at our own narrative. And I think, I see theatre as a way of telling, our stories, of creating a sort of platform for our aesthetic. And I look across all the sort of arts and sort of cultural activity in Canberra, and I see, the possibility, because it is outside of the sort of major cities, there's a possibility for an aesthetic and a way of looking at the world that is not dipping into the same pond of ideas. And that interests me. Why do we want to sort of replicate what goes on in other places? Look to the talent and the capacity that's here, and why people are here as well. And it feels to me that Canberra has yet to grow into itself, but it's fantastic to be part of that journey. And I really believe that if you want to do something, if you want to set up a business, in the sort of creative sphere, that you can do that. That this is a place you can make that happen. And I wouldn't say that about every city in Australia. And also people. There are lots of mechanisms to help make that happen. People actually want that to happen. So I feel really positive about the potential for Canberra and where it's going to be situated, in the Australian landscape, 30, 50 years from now.
I think it's quite kind actually to be creative, especially in terms of what's going on this year. There is a real push towards what can Canberra be, and it seems like there's a spotlight on creativity. It's almost the polar opposite of sort of sterile nature of politics. It can be like sort of let's get some excitement happening with Canberra.
And let's face it, every city in Australia claims the creative word. Melbourne's a creative city, Sydney's a creative city, Brisbane, discovering creative, everybody claims it. And they talk about it in a whole, in different ways that reflect, I guess, sometimes both the sort of insecurities and fears around those places, because Australian cities are not homogenous, and certainly audiences are not homogenous in any way whatsoever. But also, they reflect the aspirations of the cities. And so the way the moniker creative and the notion of creativity is articulated within each city in Australia, that interests. I think that's very revealing for us as a nation. I think it tells us a lot about ourselves.
Where were you in your training? And also, what was interesting about it? Never mind.
I find the notion of a turning point, it's hard for me to respond to that, because I think there's it works on a number of levels, and I guess what's probably most interested me are the turning points where I've learned something about myself in terms of what I need in the way that I work, or where a process has been made clearer, or a way of working has been made clearer. I mean, so there's lots of, I could probably collect about sort of 10 points where I've really learned something about myself that has totally informed my practice. A very early example would be around the notion of instinct and intuition. And I've spent a lifetime trying to listen to my instinct rather than rationalize myself out of every situation I'm in. It's a constant battle for me to really work on that level, because I'm actually very good on that level. But a lot of other things come into play, and you sort of have to manage yourself. But I guess I can remember, and this was very early when I was starting out in Melbourne, sitting on a tram. I saw somebody at the other end of the tram, and I consciously, looked at her and I thought, oh, I really should go across and say hi, but I just, don't know if I really feel like it. And this was somebody that I'd worked with in theatre, and I'd worked with the year before. And And I thought, oh no, you know, I really liked her work. I enjoyed working with her, and I thought I should just go and say hi. So I went together in the tram, said hi, and she said, oh my God, I've been thinking about you and I didn't know how to get in contact. You know, there is an opera work that you must direct. I can't think of anybody else in Melbourne to do it. Give me your number and you'll get a phone call tomorrow. And that's exactly what happened. I got a phone call, from Clifford Hocking, who was artistic director of Melbourne Festival. You know, the work was Love of Three Oranges, and it was a pretty important work in my career. And it actually was a work that brought together, you know, years of academic study and also sort of professional practice. So actually it was a work that was a sort of no-brainer for me to sort of enter, and I had everything at my fingertips for it. And if I hadn't gone, you know, I really should go and say hi, you know, my whole body was saying go and say hi, then that may not have happened, you know, and my life could have taken a completely different sort of direction, because essentially it really sort of started my career in opera in Australia. And that was just, I can't explain that other than that I forced myself to do that. And I guess I can think of,
Well, I'm a similar thing really. I think it's, turning points can be linked to different types of things. It can be a sort of a career-specific thing, or a thing that's more, a mental type, development. And certainly when I was at university, I studied fashion design, and I was quite, self-reliant really. But I remember working on something, on a pattern, back in my gigs, and I got to this point where I just didn't know how to do it. I don't know. I just wish I could just go and ask the tutor. I was thinking, this is really stumping me. And I just thought, I'm going to work through this. Probably within 15 minutes or so, I've worked it out. And it's a very small thing to sort of mention, but it was a point where I could easily have not gone any further, sort of mentally, if you like. I could have just gone, well, I'll talk to the tutor tomorrow and let them tell me how to do it. But I think that activated a moment of confidence that was like, hey, just because you don't know how to do it doesn't mean you can't figure out how to do it. And so that was a turning point in my third year university. As I think I've sort of come back to a lot actually. But the two things that are probably quite big in my path was first of all getting into Central St Martin's, which was like the #1 fashion college, and I really wasn't into fashion design. I'd studied it, and I got a great mark at the university, and I got into this university. I was already thinking about other things, to do with fabric and what else, and I'm always playing off the subject. So someone gives me the subject, and what else can that be? So it's terrible to put me in fashion and say come on clothes, because it's probably not going to happen. So I was at St Martin's, and after a year got kicked out. And that was a serious problem, because the giant sort of springboard that I worked 4 years to get onto, which was supposedly going to springboard into the fashion industry, had just like snapped, and there was really nowhere to go from that point. So I had to figure out a way to do something, use the knowledge I had, and see if I could come up with something else. So that was a big one. And then so career-wise, I was working with Givenchy, which was this year, within the last year basically, we just came through my website and seen my work, and I'd say that was a turning point career-wise. And it was great. It was in fashion, because I was kicked out of St Martin's.
I definitely heavy on other people would like to ask a question, but I see that you have some things that you want to.
Oh, well, yeah. I didn't know if come into the conversation or not, but a lot of what I do is, my work gets categorized as art. Sometimes it gets categorized as design, and these are all sort of words that I'm not too into these kind of labels. It's always about the idea. For me, it's just coming up with an idea want to market it as art, go ahead. Sometimes I've got to play that role of, sort of marketing of the work. But I view myself as a creative explorer. I think it's the best way to describe it. You're always on this mission to unearth something, to find something, to explore. I don't climb mountains, or I don't sail in boats. I do stuff creative. So that's how I feel. So to sort of demonstrate that, I just thought I'd bring 3 things along that show that the sort of diversity of creativity, how I bounce off the subject itself. If I'm designing a chair, I'll ask, well, what can a chair be? What can a chair be? This is one of the first products that I invented. This was the product actually I did straight out of St. Martin's. And the thing that I really loved about clothing design was the pattern cutting. I love one-piece pattern cutting. I love that kind of flow. I love the engineering of it. I wasn't too great on the styling side of creating fashion, but I love the technical side. So this was the idea of a scarf. And the thing about scarves is you wear them when the weather is, unknown, is it going to rain. So the idea was maybe the scarf could open up and become a jacket. This is a kid's one. I won't put this on, but I could probably didn't. And it reverses into a raincoat. And this was made for a promotional company, which was sold all around the world for lots of the big brands and things who would stamp that onto their logo on that. So that was a product that got me out of clothing in terms of fashion and clothing in terms of a product or an item, something commercial to broadly appeal. And then I moved into another product, which was this one, which was a drawing product for kids, where it's called chords, and the idea is you can take lengths of cord and basically draw with it either freehand or with this little handy pen, and you can put it in and basically draw with it, and it developed from a technique I've done for artworks using fabric. So again, a lot of the stuff I've done at university with fabric and fashion, I was using fabric to paint with, to create artworks and bring the line to life, almost in a sculptural way. And so that was almost like a commercial version of it for the children to have that tactile experience. And then about 4 or 5 years ago, I was playing around with this tulle fabric, and I noticed this was sort of bunch of it was in the studio, and I saw these great tones that were sort of in the actual tulle itself, just the way it's pleated. You've got this kind of double tones, triple tones, and I thought it would be great if you could create a portrait or image within the tones just by pleating it. So I've just brought this on, which has just been hanging out. It's a bit showy, but it's a single piece again, so it's the same concept of a single piece, which is pleated with iron. And I just thought I'd bring those bits just to show sort of, how it shifts along.
Benjamin, do you have periods where your creativity and your innovation just don't show up or dries up, maybe you're going to writer's block? And if so, how do you manage it?
I would say so, yes. But what I tend to do is I'm most sort of anxious and frustrated when I'm not making something. So I'll often flip between, if I'm working on something and I'm just not getting to where I want to be with it, I'll just go and work on something else. So I made a point early on of always making sure I've got a number of products on the go. When I did this product, I was working on 30 artworks at the same time as getting this product to market, which was definitely way too much. But at the same time, I didn't want to have the disappointment if this thing didn't take off of having nothing else that could have some hope. So to date, I literally do always have just a stack of projects on, and it sort of motivates you to see that you've got a bunch of ideas bubbling away, even if they're just little seeds of ideas. They're just little starting points. guess if I'm really stuck, I'll just go and make a shirt or something, or just do. I've got to do something because sometimes just doing something can lead to something else. That's a lesson I learn all the time, and it just completely is like a revelation every time. Why wouldn't I do that to begin with? Just go and mess about in the studio and just do something. Just go literally go in there for 4 hours and don't come out. And then you'll come up with something, and you do.
And as a strategy, organisations work with that strategy, theatre artists work with that strategy, and it's great to have multiple projects on the go also, because you never know what opportunities might pop up, whether it's grants or philanthropic or just the chance to sort of realise something. And if you don't have ideas developed even to varying degrees, you're not always in the position to just activate and run with it.
Question for Ben. Do you ever let the potential commerciality of products overtake what the design intent would be? I mean, like down even to the content that you produce or the company you choose to represent that product. Like you could have had Kmart, which you might have done. You don't have done that, but I mean, would that have affected how your design was anything?
Sometimes, maybe sometimes. Not that it, I believe compromising is a serious thing to go to grips with, especially if you're doing something commercial, and then quality of the materials you're using. I wouldn't say I let it compromise the concept itself, but sometimes you can have quite grandiose ideas of what you want, and you really have to scale them back. But that's because I come from a design background. I almost love that side of it. I love the idea of how can I make this as cheap as feasibly possible. That's a totally different idea to working with Givenchy. And just like, hey, whatever fabric you want to use, it's fine. So it's horses for courses in a way. But I think part of the design, the success of the design is taking into account the commercial side of it, limitations, and working with them, and letting that be part of it, a great part.
And then you could take some design decisions, like so you release that and something like comes back to says, no, I really do want it fluid. You go, no, my vision is black.
No, I think when it comes to things like that, there are going to be big cut-off things you just can't do. But compromising is being pragmatic, all of that is, I don't know about your work, but in the design world, those are just ground rules. In the art world, I don't think they really come into play that hugely. So it's a funny thing that I sort of cross between the two, and I find it beneficial to have that sort of design background, being able to make those sorts of decisions.
I mean, the same applies on the sort of live performance world. A budget is a budget, and there's various costing. I mean, I worked on a commercial theatre project where the producer decided that the set was too big, and he cut it in half. And that's how the show was staged. And the designer on that project, it just never recovered. But that was a very brutal, and the whole show had to be reblogged. I mean, it was just, and it was because fundamentally, the producer had not read the drawings right, and had actually built it to the wrong scale. That's a real extreme. But fundamentally, it's a great process to have to bend and shape ideas and to find them.
On the other side, I was just going to say, you were saying that people won't choose to like do analysis, but on the other side, you're a designer of products. Do you feel restricted by the identity created for you by some of your business connections to having to do other parts of work? Well, that's the thing about that.
I think I did, but I think it got to a point where, for me, when I look at the portfolio, I go, hey, look, this is all the stuff I do, and that's just how it is. But before, if it was maybe a bit too design heavy, and I was working towards getting more into the art art side of things, you know, people will probably go, I don't think that's quite right. You know, it's like a constant battle, really, of trying, and it only comes with time. You know, once you've spent ages doing the stuff, and you've got the portfolio of work, you know yourself what you want to be doing, but you can't tell people that you have to show it. And for me, it's taken 10 or 12 years to get the portfolio there, where people just accept it now, and they're like, hey, it's all good. You know? But I was going to say that limitation isn't brilliant. It's kind of something you have. A lot of the briefs I get are, from companies and stuff, and they just give you, it's almost like they just give you the ingredients. You know, if it's just for like an artwork, and here's an artwork, you've only got like 4 meters to view it. The sun comes in here, so it's probably going to bleach the artwork, and God knows what else. You know, so they're ingredients. They're just ingredients, not good or bad. That's what it is. And so my job is to put them together and see what I can come up with. But at the same time, they're all limitations, and I think it's great. You don't have any limits. You don't even know where to start.
Unfortunately, we have limited time, and there'll be opportunities to one-on-one, but thank you for great participation. Please join me.